Hello, hello. Hey, what's up? Gonna give everybody a few moments to just hop on. Just say hi. Hi. Hi, Kathleen. How's everybody doing today? Yeah, and just say hi and let me know if you can hear me, see me, everything looks good, because you never know. Okay, cool. You too, Kathleen. I just want to give everybody a little bit more time before I start here. Just clearing some energy for us. Okay, cool. Thanks, Molly. Okay, does everybody have a notebook and pen? Because that's important. Hi. That's really the only thing you're going to need. I mean, you can definitely have some crystals if you'd like to, just for some support. Thanks, Lavita. Yeah, that's really the only thing that I really feel like you're going to need is a pen and paper, notebook, whatever you want to write something down. I mean, you could use your phone if you want, like, a notes app if you'd like. You can totally do that. Because today really is going to be kind of getting our list together. It's going to be more of a list. We're kind of gathering information today. We're gathering information for all the work that we're going to do to clear this stuff, okay? Okay, perfect. Good. All right. I see more people coming on here. Yeah, so just say hi so I know you're here if you haven't already done so. Welcome to Restore, everybody. I'm very excited about this. This is my first multiple day healing intensive. I'm really, really excited that you're here to join me. This is going to be all about a deep dive into shadow work and really not only changing the way that we view our shadow, but also really healing and rewriting a lot of maybe old beliefs or old just patterns, behaviors, things that are going on that are kind of beneath the surface that we're not even fully aware of, which is very common. Hey, Laura. Hi, Diane. So, for those of you that don't really know, so let me just explain a little bit about the shadow. What is the shadow? You might hear that a lot with different metaphysical people talking about shadow work and how it's an important thing to do. I agree, it's very important. It's really just the side of you that you kind of hide away from the world. The side of you that maybe has some shame attached to it or has like different thoughts or beliefs, like this that kind of internal world that we try to kind of hide from the outside world, if that makes sense, right? It's not always some like really scary, big thing. It can be for some people, right? But it's really about embracing all aspects of our human, of who we are as a soul, right? Because it's not all perfect. It's not all put together, love and light, all of that stuff. Like, we're human, we have both sides to us. And it benefits us immensely when we're able to honor and also acknowledge both of those aspects of ourself, because they're just as equal in every way. And when we're able to activate and honor that part of ourselves and bring it together with the other parts of ourselves, that's really our kind of pathway to self-mastery in a lot of ways, right? And so here's some stuff that might come up, like some examples, some issues that you may notice if you lack shadow work or if you haven't done enough shadow work. There can be a lot of, let's say, triggers, right? Triggers or different things like that where you have an emotional or some kind of really intense reaction to something when you maybe don't fully understand why, right? That's a big one. That can be a lot about like PTSD too. There can be a lot of different things, but that's often like a shadow thing. Okay, and then there's also, let's say you just have some uncomfortable thoughts or things that you just don't feel great about. And you have kind of a shameful response to certain thoughts that you have in your head, certain behaviors even that you have, certain behavior patterns, maybe, different things like that, where you just don't feel good about yourself, okay? And there's a lot of judgment behind it. So that's also kind of an indicator, hey, there needs to be a little more work done here. Let me just check the comments. Okay. Because if we do shadow work and we're really vigilant about it and we really do the work, that should really lessen those types of reactions, those types of emotions and feelings, right? Because we're going to have not only a better understanding of that whole side of ourselves and where it's coming from, but we'll also be able to respect it and appreciate it and not feel so judgmental and negative about it, right? Yeah, well, so you know what, Levita, and I'm glad you brought that up because there's another reason. The reason the timing I did with this is, we just went through Mercury retrograde. We also had Venus in retrograde. We had a lot of energy stuff going on. And I gotta tell you, this Mercury retrograde was really intense for, I think, a lot of people. It was particularly intense for me. I felt that a lot of people around me, too, really were feeling it. So you're not alone in that at all. So that's very common. And that's why I wanted to do this workshop. Literally, we're direct today. Yay. Mercury's back today. And I thought that was perfect because you're going to be able to take maybe some of the stuff that came up while we were in retrograde and utilize it while we do this work. But we're direct now, so we'll be like clearer, right? We'll be able to have more hindsight. It won't be so raw emotionally. So that was kind of where I was thinking with the timing with all of this. Hi, Robin. Yeah, clearing. Totally. And we're going to be doing a lot of that too. But yeah, I mean, the benefits of doing this work, right? So, and this is so true for so many people. And it's something that comes through a lot with any kind of channeling that I do and just different things from spirit that I get. Just how there's a lot of unfinished business for people with shadow work, right? Like, we're going to do the stuff that is easier, more comfortable, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I get not wanting to be uncomfortable. I totally get that. But the thing is that stuff is going to affect your life subconsciously if you don't deal with it. It's just going to come out in all these different ways that we're not going to be fully aware of. And that's really where we're able to have more control, more ability to just not be so pulled around by these kind of background emotions and background things going on. So a big part of it is allowing ourselves to get vulnerable, be uncomfortable, and feel through that and take care of ourselves through that experience. And then you end up having a lifelong time here of healing where those behaviors don't have to impact you so heavily, right? So it's really worth it. It's kind of like, ripping off the Band-Aid kind of deal. You kind of have to go through discomfort and pain to really heal properly, to deal with your shit, right? And that's not always a popular thing for people to hear. I get that. Yep, exactly. So where was I? I went on a tangent and then I got started. But essentially, it's worth it. That's my point. The pain is worth it. The discomfort is worth it. It really pays off. Okay. Yeah. It's so worth it. And I even take this as, for me, some of you know this, I'm an AA, and like going through the steps is very similar to this kind of thing. It forces you to face all of yourself, right? It forces you to face all the stuff that you're shameful of, uncomfortable with, that you don't want to tell another human being, and you do it anyway, and it gives you the most amazing results, right? And I've experienced that firsthand, right? So I know that there's truth to that, big time. And one thing that you'll hear a lot in the spiritual community is spiritual bypassing, right? So that's the concept where you kind of are just like, yay, love and light. Like, I'm high vibe now. Okay, great. But there's like no healing to it. Like, there's no healing. It's just, I'm just gonna be in good spiritual vibes and ignore all my problems. And I'm healed. I'm cured. And if I just stay in this vibe, I'll be good. And that's very harmful. Exactly. Yes, you are. Courage. Totally. Totally. Yeah, and so great, there's a lot of people that do that, but it's really harmful. It's really harmful because it's not realistic. It's not long term. It's not anything. It's really just ignoring your problems. That's really just what it is, ultimately. And I can't stand it when I see people do that. It's so important that we go to the uncomfortable places. That's something that I am very into. It's something that I love to do with my clients. It's something that I often have come through a lot as a medium, too. It's kind of going into this stuff that people are afraid to talk about, that people are afraid to deal with. But it's so necessary. Hi, Ashley. So glad you're here. All right, you guys. So I think that's enough time. I'm gonna dive in here. Okay. Yes, 100%, 100%. Accountability, big time. Okay. So a few things here. So what we're gonna do today. So day one is all about. I think I named it uncover, right? So this is uncovering and identifying our key factors here, our key kind of shadow components. Okay. And I'm gonna just say this right off the bat here. I'm definitely gonna just warn everybody. Don't be scared. But this is going to be probably the most difficult day that we go through, because this is where we're going to really be facing the uncomfortable stuff. Okay, but it's good that it's the first day, right? Because we get it over with. We're gonna go through it. That way we can identify everything. And then from there, the next 2 days, we'll be able to do the healing work on it and the understanding of it, okay? So I just want to say to everybody, everyone's going to be different with this. Everyone's going to respond differently to it. And I want you to really honor and pay attention to how you're feeling and how you're responding to this work today. And if at any point you feel that it's too much for you, it's making you really emotional, it's making you very distressed or upset, stop. There's no reason to force this. I don't want you to have a full-on panic attack. I'm not trying to traumatize you. I want you to really gauge where you're at, okay? Because this work is not easy, and facing some past stuff can be really painful and really difficult for people, okay? So you gotta just assess where you're at. I think just start with me and see where we're going. And then if you're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that too much, take a break, even take a few days, right? But I just feel like just really pay attention to how you're feeling. I don't want anyone to force this, okay? It's not about being forceful or just, fighting through it, okay, if it's going to harm you in any way, okay? So be really mindful of that. And as we're working through it, just try to be really compassionate to yourself. We're going to do some pre-work before we dive into the uncomfortable stuff, to kind of set a tone, to feel some safety, feel grounded, all of that, okay? But really, it's all about really knowing where you're at and what you're able to handle at this time, okay? So that's just what I wanted to put out there. Hi, Karina. Okay. And then again, I know there's some other new people here. Make sure you have a notebook, because we're going to be writing down quite a few things here, okay? Okay. All right, you guys, let's dive in here. I'm going to get my notebook too. And as we're going along as well, I encourage you to share in the comments, whatever's coming up. Again, especially today, I would say, don't feel, that you have to share everything that's going on or coming up for you. This is all going to be like really personal stuff, right? But feel free to share whatever you feel comfortable sharing, because you might be surprised that a lot of everyone experiencing this, right? We have a lot in common. We have a lot more in common than we think most of the time, right? So there's probably a lot of overlap and similar beliefs or things that are going to come up for all of you. And it can just be really helpful to share that with each other and to support each other and be there for each other as we're doing this work, okay? So I just want to make sure we're really having a really loving, caring space where we could all be vulnerable with each other and feel safe and honored and seen, okay? So let me just share. I hate how the comments are on the bottom here. Okay. So I want to be able to see you guys. Maybe there's a way I can fix this. No, it's a little better. Okay. All right, you guys. So just make sure that you're in a comfortable place right now. And you're in a place where you're not going to be disturbed. You're going to be able to be just comfortable and quiet, and no one's going to bother you for a little while. And I want everybody to just make sure they're really comfortable where they're seated so that they don't have to shift around or move around. Okay? Now, one more thing, kind of piggybacking off of what I was just saying earlier. This is going to make you feel emotional. It absolutely can. And like I said, you got to just be really mindful with what works for you. So you could get a little emotional, but it doesn't mean maybe give up, right? You might want to push through that because it's going to be uncomfortable. And that's like what I was saying earlier. It's worth it though. So just try to gauge between the two. Like, this is too much or this is uncomfortable, but I can get through it, okay? All right, everyone. Let's dive in, okay? Let me take a sip of water here. All right. So now that you're comfortable and settled, I want everybody to close their eyes and take a deep breath in. One more deep breath, pausing at the top. And releasing. Do that one more time. Inhaling. Pausing at the top. And releasing. And just take a moment here to feel into your whole body and your aura, your energy. Just really paying attention to where you're at right now, how you're feeling, what your energy specifically feels like right now. You could even do a brief body scan here, moving around where maybe you're holding some tension. If you're noticing any tension in some areas, I encourage you to try to release it and relax it as best you can as you're noticing it. And just check in with how you're feeling emotionally today, how your body feels. And we're not judging it. I don't want to overanalyze it, right? We're just paying attention. That's all. You could feel free to take any notes on anything that's coming up at this moment, just tuning in here. And then what I want you to do is to take any of the energy that maybe feels overactivated. This is very common to be up in our head space, right, in our crown. And allow that excess energy to go down your body and to grow deep roots into the ground. Coming out of the bottom of your feet. Going deep down into the core of the earth. Firmly planting you, stabilizing you, and securing you. Allow yourself to feel held, protected, and really grounded. One thing that I actually like to do too is even imagining the smell of dirt, even feeling it, trying to visualize the feeling of dirt, just to enhance that experience. You can even imagine running your hands through some grass. Just really getting anchored here before we dive in. Really allow yourself to just settle into this, feeling secured. And it's from here that I would like you to call on a loved one in spirit that you would like to accompany you in this exercise today. Someone that you feel really safe with and someone that you feel never judged you. Just a really safe and comforting person. If you feel you don't have that in spirit, you can absolutely call on a guide instead. But just a spirit being, someone on your spirit team that you feel really safe with, okay? So take a moment to bring that energy forward. Allow them to stand next to you, ready to work. And then we're going to dive in here. All right. First thing that we're going to bring up here, now that you're in this space, is I want you to identify at least 3 beliefs that you quote unquote hate that you have. So, beliefs about yourself, about your life, okay, that are chronic, that are constant. And then write them down. And you may have more than 3, and that's totally okay too. Okay? And take your time here to really identify these things. But it should be pretty easy. I mean, these are the kind of beliefs that we just have in the background, right? Just those different thoughts that we have that are pretty constant that will come up on a regular basis, okay? I'll give you a few more moments here. And again, make sure that you're writing these things down. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next thing here. I now want you to bring forward at least 3 desires you have that bring you shame. Okay? It doesn't have to be sexual, but it absolutely can be. But it could be several different things. Okay? But whatever type of desire you have, I don't mean to do quotes, but a desire that you have where you feel like you can't necessarily share that with other people, you have some shame related to it, or you feel like there's something wrong with it, okay? Really feel into that. I will write that down as well. And again, you may have more than 3, and that's also totally fine. But just whatever is really prominent and constant. I'll give you a few more moments here to identify these. And don't overthink this stuff. It's really whatever comes up naturally. I want you to trust it, okay? Even if you think it's silly, right? Or isn't that big of a deal. Doesn't matter. If it gives you that reaction, I want you to put it down. And if you're worried about someone seeing what you're writing or something like that, right, you can always burn this later, okay? So don't worry, don't hold back. I don't want you to hold back or filter yourself at all, okay? Okay, we're going to move on now. So now I want you to move on to 3 things, at least 3 things, that make you jealous. Okay? And again, you may have more than 3. I definitely did. I definitely had more than 3 with this one. And it's totally okay. So just take a few more moments here to write that down. Hi, Emily. Thanks for joining us. I'll give everyone a few more moments here. Okay, and now we're going to move on to our final piece here, okay? This one's going to take a little more time. I want you to revisit at least 3 moments from your past where you felt either victimized or harmed in some way. Really, the main point is moments in your past where you felt your weakest and you felt that you were least empowered. So we're going to break this down. So let's just start with number 1 here. So go to like the immediate memory that comes up first for that. Okay? And I want you to bring yourself to that moment, and please remind yourself here that we are not there anymore. This is just a revisit and a viewing here, okay? And just try to identify what's going on in this situation. Identify what the situation is, also how old you are, and the people that are involved. So just take a moment to identify all of those things, and then you can just write down a summary of all of those things. And then I want you to write down specifically how you felt in that moment. All right, and then I don't want us to spend too long in these situations, okay? Because we're just gathering some data here, all right? I don't want you to feel that you're reliving the whole situation. So we're going to move on. So move on to situation number 2. So the second one that comes up right away for you, where you felt your least empowered. And once again, identify your age, the situation taking place, and the people that were involved. And then identify how you felt in this situation. Once you feel you have that, we're going to move on to number 3 here. So finally, bring yourself to the third situation that naturally comes up. Once again, a memory from your past, a situation from your past where you felt the least empowered, the most scared, any kind of really vulnerable space that was very scary for you or difficult, hurtful, right? And once again, identify your age, the situation, and the people involved. And then make sure to identify how you felt. Getting really specific about it. And then once you have that data, that information, I want you to leave that memory, okay? There's no need for us to stick around or stay there. We just needed the information. Now, if you feel that there's more than three, I really think top three is probably solid enough. But if you really feel that there's more than three, like a fourth, that is really important, and that really stands out for you, then by all means, you can add that as well, okay? So I'll give everybody a minute to add a fourth situation if they feel they need to. Okay. So once you feel that you've identified your memories, make sure you just leave that stuff, remove yourself from it. Okay? And just take a moment. If there's any emotional stuff that's coming up here, take a deep breath. So let's do another deep breath, pausing at the top here. And releasing. Really allow any emotional stuff to just flow through. Not ignoring it, just letting it work through you. And also being really proud of yourself for facing that stuff, okay? Because that's not comfortable or easy at all. And I want you to just take a moment to give yourself some love back in return here. Because this is a big thing. When we're kind of making an inventory like this, very easy to feel like it's kind of a self-bashing party, right? And that's not what we're trying to do here. We're identifying some stuff, okay, about ourselves that make us feel uncomfortable. But we're not trying to put ourselves down, okay? So take a moment to, I even like to hug myself. So if that makes you feel weird, you don't have to, but go ahead and do that if you'd like. And for your loved one in spirit or guide that is with you right now, allow them to give you some love as well, please. So allow them to really embrace you, shower you in that unconditional, non-judgmental love. Give you a little bit of, cheer you on, being proud of you. And just take a moment to honor yourself, give yourself some love. Know that what you're doing is such important and beautiful work to really just help yourself. And a mantra that you can try to work on, if this is maybe really hard, right? This might be bringing up a lot of difficult stuff. A mantra that you can try to just focus on here is I accept all parts of myself fully and without judgment. I accept all parts of myself fully and without judgment. One more time. I accept all parts of myself fully and without judgment. And try to really let that sink in. And you may feel some resistance with that, right? And that's okay. A lot of mantras, when we first start them, you're going to experience resistance. It's not going to maybe feel natural. But that's kind of the point of them, and that's why we repeat them, okay? Just taking a moment to feel into that. Okay, so I would love for all of you guys to just share in the comments anything that came up just now in our exercise that you feel comfortable sharing with each other. Doesn't have to be, it's whatever you feel comfortable sharing. But maybe one of the first few things, it doesn't have to be like the memory. That can be more for you, right? But I would love for you guys to share some stuff that came up in this exercise, okay? Let me make sure my comments are still working. Aw, thanks, Diane. Yeah, and you totally don't have to share this stuff if you feel that you want to just keep it to yourself. That's also totally okay. All right. Mm, yeah, thank you for sharing that, Molly. That's a really big one, and that's something that I think a lot of us have experienced. Okay, comments are working. So really, the whole point of all of this, like we're identifying all of these things, and then the next 2 days we're going to really go deeper into them and understand their purpose, their connections, all of that, and really do multi-phase healing for all of them. Okay. So I'm really proud of all of you for doing this because, again, like I said, not everybody wants to face that stuff, right? Honestly, I mean, I wrote down some things that definitely made me feel like, ugh, like I was like, I don't want anyone to see this. I don't want anyone to read this, but I know I'm doing it right because I had that response, right? So it's okay. And like I said, no one has to know, no one has to see it. You could burn this stuff afterwards. That might actually feel really good. I'm all for burning things. That's something I do quite often, actually. No one has to know except for you, right? But it's just as long as you're acknowledging it and you're feeling it, you're experiencing it, you're understanding it, you're using it for your own healing. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad, Kathleen. Good. Good. Okay. And you got, and all over the few days too, like more stuff might come up. Also, just over the course of later today, once we're done today, other things may pop up. So I totally encourage you to add to these lists if something like that comes up that you just hadn't thought of before, okay? So the last thing we're going to do, because I don't want to leave you, I'm not going to leave you in this spot of just kind of feeling raw and like, well, that was uncomfortable and great, thanks. So we're not going to do that. Don't worry. I'm going to make sure that we leave this feeling really calm, good about ourselves, and in a really empowered place, okay? So I'm just going to take you through a brief little meditation just to finish off our first day, okay? Okay, so get comfortable again and just close your eyes and take a deep breath in. One more deep breath, pausing at the top. And releasing. Followed by one more deep breath. And just take a moment here with your loved one who's still there, right? That was helping you or guide. And allow them to just share a piece of advice. So, whatever it is that they really need to tell you right now. And just listen and allow whatever comes up to come up. It doesn't have to make sense, okay? And then I want you to allow this loved one to take their hands and hold them right above your third eye and offer some healing light in that space for you, okay? The third eye and crown chakra area is often where we'll have a lot of anxiety, or we'll kind of store a lot of these thoughts that we just brought up. So really allow that healing light to disperse some of that energy, clear some of that energy, and just receive from your loved one here. Allowing that excess energy to really move down the rest of your body, balancing the rest of your energy centers to better support you. And then just allow them to give you a final hug. And then allow them to step back. Not going anywhere, but just stepping back. And then I want you to envision a beautiful golden light pouring down from the heavens on top of your head and pouring over your entire body, enveloping you in this gorgeous gold light. Really soothing any aches and pains, releasing any tension that you're holding, really pushing away any dark or difficult blocks that are in there, anything that's just kind of getting in the way. Really opening up more flow between all the energy centers in your body and reactivating your chakras. Really allowing it to cradle you, support you, and just give you a bit of relief, a break. Reminding you that you're no longer in those memories that you were thinking about, that you're in a new, empowered state of being. Really lifting you up, raising your vibration. And allowing this energy to really concentrate by your solar plexus area. So right above the belly button. And imagining an orb of yellow light expanding out of that area. Glowing, intensifying. Removing any other people's emotions that you've maybe absorbed in that center. Really clearing it out. And allowing it to really empower you. Remind you of your worth, of your strength, and of your innate power that is uniquely yours. And remind yourself that doing all this work is just showing how brave you are. And really be very proud of yourself for it. Take another moment here to just allow this golden light to support you. And then watch it as it absorbs into your skin, going deep within you. And settling beneath the surface. And just take a moment to slowly bring yourself back to the room you're sitting in, to your physical body. You can shift around, move your hands and toes. Whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Levita. I'm sending you lots of love, and I'm really proud of you for doing this and bringing that up and going to those places. Hey, Julie. So how does everybody feel after doing that meditation? Just let me know how you're feeling. We should be feeling less raw, less just on edge, right? More at ease. It's still normal to feel, you still may feel a little emotional, you still may feel some things coming up. Again, I really just want you to take today to just be aware, be open, and be kind to yourself. Do some self-care stuff. Maybe even take a bath, like a salt bath would be really great. You could take more time to meditate. Really anything that's just really relaxing for you. I would just do some extra self-care today. Oh, that's okay. You can totally watch the replay. Relaxed and exhausted. That makes sense. That makes sense. So yeah, just take it easy. You know, it's just taking some time for ourselves, okay? Well, that flew by, right? I feel like that went by fast. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Oh yeah, no problem. Definitely catch the replay, Anne. So I will be here tomorrow at 12 p.m. EST for step 2. And I definitely encourage doing all three days, okay? Because we want to make sure that we complete this healing process. Because we've just kind of opened something up. We've activated it, right? And now we got to follow it through. So if you can't make it live, that's totally okay. I just recommend that you do the replay when you can. Because you don't want to activate and open this up and then not follow through with it, right? So I just really recommend doing that. Okay? And if there's anything else that came up or something that you just don't feel comfortable maybe sharing in the comments here, you can absolutely message me privately with any questions that you have, okay? Yeah, no problem, Diane. I love you too. You're so welcome. Technology. Well, hopefully it'll get better because Mercury's over now. And if anybody ends up watching this on the replay, definitely share with me in the comments, you know, what came up or how you were feeling. I would love to know. Okay? And I will see you guys tomorrow, okay? All right. Love you guys. Bye.